Welcome. That was my best G impersonation. To another episode of the Miami Heat Beat post-game show. And with me today, I'm trying real hard. I got the great Tiffany Meeks.
Thank you. We listen, we're gonna rock it out. We got.
Yes. And alongside us, we got Franky G. Oh, he's on the P's and Q's backstage now too, producing. He's doing everything.
It feels like the draft.
Hey. And in more important news, the Miami Heat are one step closer to the lottery. I'm sorry. And in more important news, the Miami Heat have lost today to the Indiana Pacers in a rematch, 110-119. And we got to start off with the starting lineup not working today and getting absolutely shredded by the Indiana Pacers. Tiff, real quick to you, man. Are you shocked? Are you shocked that the starting lineup couldn't maintain the same rhythm?
I think the thing about it is that like our guards can't stop a cold.
Yep.
It's gonna always go back to that, because if your perimeter defense keeps getting people out of position, so it doesn't matter. I think the problem was that like I think everybody tried to hit their ceiling in the last game against Indiana. So it seems like everybody was trying to like play as hard as they could. But the thing about it is that when you play the same team back to back, water finds its level.
Yep.
Right. So I think part of the problem is, and I keep saying, is that like where Tyler had like this like ridiculous start to the season, it always seems like it's hard for him to maintain that level, for 20 games, 25 games. I think part of that is just the physicality of the game. So where you have that, you got to have another guard who can pick him up, but also take part in carrying the team. And I don't want to sound like that broken record, because the shit got scratches in it right now. I'm just having a hard time trying to understand what Terry should be doing right now, because this is a game where, and I don't call him Scary Terry because why? So, but
scares us.
Right. But this is the game where you needed to see that bodaciousness on display. This was the game where you needed to see him hit the step backs, hit the runners, get to the foul line, get to the cup. Like, I would have rather seen 35 and no assists, to be perfectly honest. Like, this was a night where you needed him to get downhill and do all those things. And and I don't know if it's not there because he just can't get it there yet, or if this whole idea of the way they were supposed to be playing has totally mentally taken him out of the game. But I'm also going to say this, because he's a vet.
Mm-hmm.
So he shouldn't be having these types of slumps at this point.
Yeah. 100%.
Not for 12 games, at least. Not for 12 games. But Franky, again, we got, the starters went minus 12 today in 12 minutes, which is not where you want to be in a 48-minute game. You lose by 48 points. Math is math. But leading the starters today was Terry Rozier with minus 15. Is there any hope at this point? Let's be honest. Is there any hope for this starting backcourt to continue?
Whoa. I just realized something. I really just looked at Franky. Hold on. Hold the hell on. Hold on. I'm sorry, anybody watching right now, but if I could reach through this monitor, I would slap the hell out of Franky right now. And Franky, you know why.
Tiff, I swear to God, I grabbed it before I knew you were going to be on the show.
I'm sorry,
Franky's
Lou.
taking.
I am sorry, Lou. But
Frankie's taking subliminals for those of
he
you
just
who are
gave me
not.
a mini stroke. He just gave me a mini stroke.
My hat was in the living room. I grab it and then I go to my computer and I see Tiff is like, "Oh, I'm gonna be able to do the show. Let's go." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
I'm sorry, Lou. I'm
It is
sorry,
what it
Lou.
is, you know."
Ooh, kick your ass.
For the podcast audience, I'm wearing a Packers hat, and Tiff is a big Chicago Bears fan, sadly. So she just took 2 L's today. Oh, whoa! What is that?
Oh, I know you didn't.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Oh my god!
I'm out. I'm out of here.
Oh, Tiff, no, come back!
Oh my goodness gracious! This is the most entertaining thing we're gonna have on the show.
That was more defense than the Heat played tonight. Let's be
100%, 100%.
I'm sorry, Lou. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, basic. You know, there's no way. There you look. What a gentleman. There's no way. You know, we can change the outcome of the game for either side. Tiff, my team lost too, but can we change this backcourt? Is there hope, or are we just? You know, is this going to be the wave we're willing to die on?
Well, Tiff mentioned like she would have rather see Terry give her 35 points, no assists. He didn't give us assists. He didn't give us points. He didn't give us defense. 1 assist today, 9 points on 4 of 12 shooting. They didn't give us turnovers at least, but like you said, my team worst -15 and the game you lost by 9. They tried to run zone with him on the court. It didn't work. They tried to run man and drop. Didn't work. It's so hard to find lineups that work when you're trying to score without Jimmy. You're trying to run lineups that is Duncan, Tyler, Terry, Josh. You're trying to run those 4 guys 3 at a time a lot of the game, and that's just setting yourself up for performance, because Josh even had some good stretchers today. And Spo was like, "Hey, let's throw him some more. Josh has to be the kind of guy where I don't know, I'm flipping this from Terry to Josh, but Josh has to be the guy. Hey, he gave me something. I got lucky. Let's get somebody else in and try something else.
But that's what it was today, Frankie. That's Josh gave you something today.
He was a +1.
Yeah, last game he gave you a little bit of something too. And then here we go with 5 minutes left in the game. The Miami Heat are down by 4, and Terry Rozier checks in, and I'm like, the game's gone. Spo's in on the tank.
It was a 4-point deficit. Terry checked in. It went to like -9 right away. Tyler got hot, hit a couple of tough threes to get himself going, brings it back to 4, and the Pacers make another run to close it out. Terry just isn't providing anything to complement Tyler in the backcourt or to complement the starters that I see a reason for him starting. I think I don't see it reported, but I saw Highsmith get hurt. It looked like he hit his head on the ground or on one of the players, and then he ran back. The ref didn't call anything. He got hit. He fell and got hit again. That's what I saw. He didn't play. He didn't close. He only played 22 minutes today. Didn't have a good game, but he didn't get a chance to get a second stint in. But you saw the issues. Jaime also went out with the rolled ankle. They didn't have anybody else on the perimeter that they trusted to defend. I was surprised Pele didn't get minutes at all today. Drew I would have tried Drew for a stint. Like
even
Burks
at that point.
Somebody.
Josh wasn't working, and Terry wasn't either. And you're just like, Spo is riding or dying with these guys, and it's been a lot of dying so far. They're 8th seed right now.
Like Tyler said, I can't decide who I hate watching something more between Jay Rich and Terry. I said watching the Heat's point guard rotation is playing Russian roulette with a loaded pistol. That shit, every time you pull the trigger, you're fucking dead. You're killing your own chances of winning. My bad.
And the thing is, we know this was a winnable game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough to win back-to-back games against the same team.
Right, but
it was winnable. It was right there for you.
They were there. Like they were legitimately tied at a certain point.
And you can talk about Jimmy being out, them losing Jaime,
right,
as well. But Pacers are missing Neesmith. They're missing Nembhard. Those are 2 of their starters right there for them, and they had guys step in. they absolutely shredded the zone, Lou. 20 for 27 at the rim for them, according to Pivot Fade. It was just a bad defensive night. They couldn't defend them in man, couldn't defend them in zone. Like the minutes with Love that were so great last game were not effective at all, and they couldn't find many lineups that worked for them tonight.
And that's been the struggle all year. All year has been like, it seems to be like, we have glimpses of certain things working, but it's never consistent, and they don't typically play often. Like, today I thought, and honestly, all season, Tyler Duncan lineups are working this year. And that's been an issue with things before. But I do think the reason I want to ask you is I do think Tyler playing more of a 3-point oriented game, as well as those shots falling, has helped this unit have almost two guys that they're consistently running in motion, because that's what got them in the game in the fourth quarter.
I think it's hard because it doesn't matter. We have to be real honest. Like, the combinations don't matter if we can't play defense.
Yep.
Like, the offensive combinations, they don't really matter. If we can't nail down a singular 3 players at all times that can defend, then it doesn't matter who's in the backcourt. And that's real sad, because I feel like you take Duncan off the bench, and then it's like, what happens? Because you don't really have a shooter on the bench that comes in like Duncan.
Yep.
Like, you have Jaime, but he's a scorer. He's not coming in and just shooting the building up. He's literally coming in. He's giving you his Jimmy-esque. So I get why Duncan is very important to the bench, but I just think that defensively, if you don't figure out how to keep at least 3 good defenders on the court at all time, you're not winning. And I'm okay with Love having a bad game, because he's at the age now where he's not going to give you that great game back to back.
Absolutely.
And I feel like fans, everyone should understand that and be grateful for when he gives us the spurt, we get it. When he don't have it, he don't have it.
But that's the difference with Love. When Love isn't having a good game, he plays 12 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, I got you. Yep.
And other guys, Spo trusts Terry, Spo trusts Josh, and it's not only their fault. Like, the Tyler Duncan lineup, as great as they played offensively, they couldn't defend. They still can't defend. And
can't defend.
You're in constant rotation against a team that was attacking them with second efforts and cuts, offensive rebounds, extra shots. Pacers got 10 offensive rebounds tonight, and it was just a lot of second efforts that the Heat don't have the size to really stand a chance. Like I said, 20 for 27 at the rim. That's the story of the night. You can't win many games like that. That's layup line. That's a layup line right there. Lou, I wanted to bring this comment from the chat up to you. The Spo from Lenny Leinster. Does Spo get some of the blame for what's going on so far this season?
I mean, honestly, you'd be biased not to say he deserves some of the blame. I'm not saying that he's, if it's a pie chart, Spo doesn't have 100%. He's probably doesn't even have majority, but some of this does fall on him, at least a decent chunk, because some of the rotations, like you just said, Franky, some people have longer leashes than they're supposed to. This team should not be, it shouldn't be influenced by paychecks, and that's kind of what it's felt like. Salary has influenced rotation in certain situations, when that shouldn't be the case. As soon as Highsmith went down, and as soon as Jaime went down, why is Pell Larson not getting any? Like he's probably the best perimeter defender that you have. As soon as Highsmith goes down, like, arguably,
right.
So why is he not getting some run to try to get? Benedict Mathurin was getting to the rim today at will on Tyler. Halliburton didn't have a great game in terms of like shooting, but he was controlling pace the whole game. Somebody who can get over some of these screens, that would be fucking phenomenal. Like, just things to make it easy. So yes, Spo deserves some blame for some of the rotations, and like the timeout the other day, obviously against Detroit, sure, he deserves some of the blame, but I don't think it's like I think Pat deserves more blame than Spo does. Like the way this roster is built is just bad. This is not Bam Adebayo played 40 minutes today because we needed him to. Because as good as, I thought Nico had a very good game today. It's ironic he went to the bench and his 3 most minutes played all season and practically came since he's been a bench player. All of a sudden, he looks better when he comes off the bench. It just makes sense, but we don't really have somebody who we're trusting in that backup situation. That's also on him. We have, questions about our point of attack defense. That's also on roster construction. We have question about our perimeter shooting, our shot creation, our play initiation. That's not on Spoelstra. This is on the roster construction. Like Spo deserves credit and he deserves blame for everything he's been able to do, rightfully so. But this does not ultimately, it's not at fault of just one man, is my point.
I agree. But I also think that we have to start looking at this differently. Then because the one thing Spoelstra cannot control is, are you going to fight to get over this screen? How are we just dying on screens? How are we not closing out properly on shooters? These are just textbook things that we just act like we forgot how to do.
Why are we not rotating in time?
Right.
We have vets on the floor.
Yeah.
Rotation should not be an issue. Miles Turner is picking and popping his way to fucking 36 points, it felt like. 34. Why? Where's the rotation?
He was eating against that zone lineup when Kevin was in. I'll pull up the stats in a little bit as soon as I can find them. But it was just so much damage done by Miles Turner when they went zone. Because he could just pick his matchup. He shoot over the top of guys, pick and pop, and get good looks. He had 4 lineups that were positive for the game. The highest positive was a +5.
And what was that lineup? Even though it doesn't matter.
I'll pull it up in a second.
I'm pretty sure it's the final stint. I'm pretty sure it's Josh Richardson, Tyler Duncan, Nico Bam. If I had to guess.
Let me find it.
Because
but that's a 5. How much do you really want to run with that 5?
But that's my point, Tiff. The reason they're probably +5 is because
that lineup. Tyler, Bam, Duncan, Nico.
What did that 5 shoot from 3? They were on a burner from 3. I'm pretty sure that 5 was when Tyler sparked up in the 4th. When Duncan, that's what got him back into this game. But is it sustainable? No,
it's not. No, we know.
But
that.
why is Josh Richardson the one subbing out to bring Terry Rozier in? We've seen how this story ends. It's the same movie they got on fucking repeat.
Yeah, that lineup shot crazy from 3, 6 for 10 from 3.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Duncan, for getting us back in that game.
I think one of the biggest things is that Terry's having a bad season thus far. It's still early. He's having a bad season. He's also having a bad season just due in part because he's not a true point guard.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right.
He's not he doesn't know how to pick his spot.
Right.
When to play make, when to pass. He's more of a shooter first, and that's what kills him. He misses pockets so much, badly times decision making.
Yeah, and to Big 8 Seed's point here, Spo just needs one more look at Rozier's clutch defense. My God, dog, this is so. The funny thing is, Terry checks in. We're up by 4. And they give him the Tyrese Halliburton assignment. They proceed to run 3 or 4 pick and rolls and get whatever the fuck they wanted because basically Bam was guarding 2 people. Can we just please, man, please, somebody?
Because the ultimate problem is where you're going to round back into a different problem is that Jimmy's back on Monday.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah, they're saying he might be.
I feel like I feel like that even further pushes Rozier away from maybe where he wants to be. Because to me, this was the perfect opportunity for him to find a rhythm without Jimmy being on the floor.
For sure.
Correct. 100%.
Because Jimmy if Jimmy is the Jimmy I know, he's going to try to establish himself in the game on Monday.
Yep.
Because that's just what he does, which means that's fewer shots for Rozier, fewer looks, which obviously everybody would say is fine. But the problem is that because there is no rhythm, instead of him being 7 for 10, it's going to be a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
Unless something literally happens between now and then, because I just don't know how it all works now.
No, for sure. Because even when Terry joined the team last year and had good stretches, that was when Tyler was out.
Right.
So it was less cooks. It's always been with three of them that they can play. They can find their rhythm with three of them playing, but they've never been able to do it with all four of them in the lineup. Small samples as it's been, and they just had consistent issues with fitting that many cooks in the kitchen with fitting the rest of the holes, because that's you put those four together. There's still nobody that can guard point of attack. Right. You still need another shooter who can space. Yep. And you're still small because there's no four in that lineup, and that's what makes that unit that force them together so difficult. And Jimmy's a step slow defensively. Bam hasn't been able to cover up all those holes defensively of these guys. The constant rotation's been a mess. But yeah, like, this was a bad loss. Opportunity for a win. I think the Spo thing, Lou, I love what you said about the roster construction, because I can't think of a lineup that even fully healthy. Can you put 5 guys together that are good on both ends?
It's all difficult. 5.
All 5.
It's difficult. It's truly, truly difficult. But
I mean, and this is the craziest part. Because if you told me to pick 5, and I'm not worried about winning or losing, but I'm just worried about being competitive on both ends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I got my 5, so I'll let Tiff go.
I'm actually gonna put the rookie in there.
Thank you.
We talk about the
same one, right, Tiff?
Yeah, which honestly we should not be talking about him, but this 100%. Is where we are.
100%.
I'm gonna put Pele. I'm gonna put Tyler because I know he tries.
Yeah,
it ain't great all the time, but one thing I will say, he gives me 100% all
Pete
the
Larson.
time. I'm gonna go Bam. I'm gonna go Haywood, and then if we just playing hard and ain't nobody worried about shit, because this is when Jimmy will show up. Put Jimmy out there with those dudes. That's when Jimmy's gonna show up.
There you go. Me and Tiff have the same fucking starting 5.
That's
by the
it.
Way.
That's Jimmy with the Minnesota kids. Let's just do something.
But you know what
Jimmy
that
wearing
does?
His Rolex,
right?
And Tiff, I could not agree with you more. I genuinely believe that is the Heat's best chance at competing. Not like we've seen the Heat don't really have an issue, or let me not say that. The Heat have an issue beating anybody, but against lesser teams, typically, whether it's ugly or pretty, they come out with a W. The problem is against these real contenders or teams that are making playoff pushes, we get absolutely killed. And the reason for that is for what you just said. It's tough for what Franky said. It's tough to find a 5-man rotation who you can trust that can do things on both sides. But I definitely think it's got to be, the big 3, however you categorize them this year: Bam, Jimmy, Tyler. And then if it was up to me, it's Highsmith and Pelle Larsson. Just 2 guys that know their role off ball, are going to defend. They're going to try. They're going to hustle. And it forces Jimmy to be Jimmy, because the problem with too many chefs in the kitchen is Jimmy's in the side cutting onions. We need him. We need him on the grill. We need him cooking. What the fuck is he?
Jimmy's taking out the trash and hasn't been out there for 15 minutes too long.
No, he got the TV on. He got the TV on with his
Jimmy taking a smoke break.
Yeah, Jimmy taking a smoke break, but he didn't say he was taking a smoke break.
All right, so Flyvolutionary, this comment here. I just don't like Haywood at the 4 because he get killed by 4s and 5s. But I like him at the 2 or 3. Your problem is that, granted, he got hurt tonight, this, that, and the third. But did we watch the last game where Who was out running fast break by themselves?
Yeah.
Haywood. Like sometimes you're gonna have to give a little bit in order to sustain the whole thing. He's small. Like there is no way around it. He's small. But they're gonna have to figure out a way to play faster. Like this is just when you're small, you have to be faster. That's it.
And like realistically, yes, Highsmith at the 4 spot is probably not ideal. But at the same time, if you have a bigger one, if you're sized up at other positions, it makes that transition a little bit easier. We've seen Jimmy guard 4s at times. We've seen Pell even switch on to 4s at times this year. Like Highsmith,
well, that would be ideally not one sole person would be responsible for that body.
Exactly.
Haywood will get an opportunity. Jimmy gets an opportunity. You just you're gonna have to switch it around. And the other thing is, I like Nico, but like you need Nico spark off the bench because quiet as it's kept between Duncan shooting threes and Nico handling the ball and doing other things. That's what keeps the blood flowing. Because I also still feel like Jaime is still in that stage where he doesn't know yet. Like I don't know if he knows he could get that mid-range anytime he wants. Like because I feel like he's unselfish to a point where sometimes just go get it. Like they just don't have. They have a lot of things, but they have nothing.
I get what you're saying. I also think the problem with the starting lineup is with like trying to come up with a starting lineup. I don't think they have a 5-man group that should start every game. I think it's matchup dependent. You can go. I say there's 4 starters that I would go with every game. That's Tyler, Jimmy, Bam, Haywood. And then if they have like a more physical big, like a Nurkic, I'm not playing Nico. I'm putting Kevin Love in. Like he matched up well with Gobert and Randall, and he did a good job. He did a good job last game against Turner, but they really took advantage of it tonight.
Of him guarding in space today. Yeah.
Exactly. Otherwise, I'm putting Nico there and letting him run. Since it's Haywood instead of Terry, he can handle the ball a little bit, play the one, play with the ball a little bit, play as a connector, find cutters. And with Haywood, he has somebody to run, and it encourages Bam to get out in transition. You have Tyler who's really good at the outlet passes, really good as a trailer threes and finding those threes in transition. So I think that those being more matchup dependent helps them. It's not something we've ever really seen Spo do.
Right.
So I think it's a pipe dream. But I think this is something he needs to consider with the difficulties of this roster construction.
Yep.
Is it difficult?
Glamar Hernandez was asking why no Kalel Ware tonight. Frankie, I'll let you take that question.
I mean, the shot, the t-shirt cannon really hurt. Going to Indiana, took a lot out of him. That's why he's very skinny, man. I call him que le troque because if you're Hispanic, like you know what a palitroque is, and he's just skinny, man. Like it's hard to like Tiff. I'll pull up an image for you because I'm sure you've never seen a palitroque.
Don't be sure.
Skeleton is a banger.
Skeleton is hilarious.
No, I think he just against this team that plays so fast paced, his feet aren't exactly where you want him to be. And like if you thought Love was having issues containing and stuff, Ware was probably going to have some of those issues, and you need him to dominate. Yep, there you go. Palitroque.
It's like a breadstick. It's just like a skinny breadstick.
Frankie, I've been around the world.
Hey,
Lou face is so red.
Around the world.
No, I also wonder too, because he's thin. Like we know that. Like that's already what we know. I just also having watched him play, he's just good in spurts. But when he's left out there for longer than a spurt, then we start to see where the footwork comes into play, where it seems like he also needs to work on stamina. Like these are just things that
lack of strength.
Lack of strength. He's a rookie. And like, I guess here's the other part, like that we don't talk about, but I think the idea is that Spo's going with the guys who he thinks is going to get him to win. Like this is just what it is right now, you know?
Yeah.
So I just don't see, unless something happens, I just don't see him getting a lot of valuable minutes this early in the season.
Yeah, the advanced stats have not been good, particularly with Tyler. Who he's asked to cover for Tyler a lot. Like Tyler on the season, like despite his great start, he has a negative net rating, but if you take off his minutes with Kalel, it goes positive. Like it's been that bad. It's just he's not somebody who like the positioning, the rebounding, the footwork needs work. He needs to tighten up the technique, and he needs to get stronger. He's playing against bigs who are a lot bigger, a lot stronger. That's something that we saw in the draft process that it was a reason we weren't a big fans of his. You see Lou try to hide that smile. But you got to be patient with him, guys. Like I know like that's been the topic like pretty much every game. Like where's Kalel? Why isn't he playing? Why isn't he this? Like it's gonna take some time, like to really see that impact and that like this year, consider it a redshirt year, pretty much. Right. Like he'll get spurts, like Tiff said. There'll be moments where he makes a nice block, gets a nice dunk and stuff like that. But like we're not really gonna see Kalel consistently get minutes and playing time until like probably next year.
Yep.
It's like after two. It's like literally after like a minute and a half of him being on the court, it's just immediately kryptonite.
Yeah,
like you could just see it. But I don't know if I missed it or maybe I turned my head. Thomas Bryant didn't play.
No, he didn't play at all.
He didn't.
They went with Nico at the 5.
Nico at the 5 minutes were
and they were good.
I honestly think this might have been a Thomas Bryant. Not like you could have moved Nico to the 4, but I honestly think that maybe this was get out of here, G. Anna G instead of anime Anna G.
Oh, it's great. He's like a snowball.
He's not even hearing us.
He didn't even listen to
this motherfucker's on. Speaking of being around the world,
right? On a world tour buying comic books.
Yeah, he's in Japan. He's trying the Japanese Troques right now. He's trying.
Damn, it's bad when Chad is asking for a Sage this early in the season.
It's too early. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's too soon.
Look, there is no Sage strong enough to save us this season. I'm sorry.
Can't do it.
I'll speak for G. I have an energy lady too. No, I'm kidding. Don't.
Everybody got energy ladies.
Lou's energy lady's got a different type of green though.
Oh.
Yeah, she provides different types of greens, but maybe that's what Terry's off the Zaw.
But the craziest part, the East is bad.
Oh, awful,
horrible.
When you should be able to take advantage, the East is bad.
Tiff, the Heat are 2 games back of the 3rd seed.
Exactly. The East is bad.
5-7. 5-7.
The East is bad. So all someone needs to do is have a streak, and they're right there.
That's why I like we talk about them possibly like tanking. When's enough? I'm like, the East is so bad that I don't.
You can't tank.
They're gonna believe all season.
They're gonna believe all season, barring like some serious injuries and like a serious losing streak. Which they got the serious injuries last season, and it was like a 7 or 8 game losing streak last season, and they still went for it. So they traded a first for a guy who didn't fit well with their franchise players. So I'm not believing in this front office pivoting. They haven't pivoted in a long ass fucking time.
Nah, this front office has no post moves, no
Right.
pivots, nothing. It's just straight bully ball. They're gonna outwork you.
They're bam. They're going right every time.
Yo, I'm laughing because Lou, why you said that? So Thursday, this is a side note, y'all, because we already know what happened to the Heat. I had these kids running drills, and so I basically had them doing pull-up jumpers, and so I had the 2 cones out. So I had the one side pulling up, the other side rebounding, right? So I'm like, I put the cones out. I said, all right, you're gonna dribble to the cone. I said, raise your hand if you know what to do next. So the people who had their hands up that I knew, I did not call on them. So I called on somebody who didn't know. Exactly. Stanley from the office. They told me, we gonna pivot. I said, at the cone? You gonna pivot at the cone?
Shit. Sage busted.
I probably had that word on my face. My face probably said shit. I just look. You gonna pivot at the cone?
Oh man, that reminds me of a drill tip that we did. We were working on like creating space. You know, you dribble to the cone, pull back, crossover, and explode. And I'm just there on defense as a coach, and I'm just putting my hand out to give you a defender, give you a look. Right. And I had this kid. I'm standing there like a fucking statue. I am fucking Terry Rozier on defense right now. And I have this one kid who his mom would swear to me this kid was going to the league. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure, man? I'm standing there. Everybody's doing a pretty good job creating space, commander notes. This kid comes up, boom, right to my hand. Boom, right to my hand. Boom. He's like, Coach, what you doing? You keep reaching. I'm like, motherfucker, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He said, you keep reaching.
I keep reaching. I'm like this.
Terry Rozier.
I'm just like, you keep doing, like, you don't see what you're doing wrong. It's somebody else's fault. Enough about the Miami Heat.
Right.
And on a side note, this is fine, right? This is okay. This team is fine. Like, we're perfectly great, dude. 5-7 is where they want to be. That's what they're going to say post-game. I haven't seen the clips, but Spo's going to say, we fought hard, well-deserved. He has this mannerism, too. He likes to point at people as soon as he's giving them clues. We fought hard. That's a well-respected team over there, well-coached. We weren't prepared for them today. And we won't be for the rest of the season.
I will say there is a part of me that feels bad for Terry, because Terry is in that same position that a lot of players have been in when they get traded to the Heat, that they don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to, because here's the thing. However you look at it, what was he averaging in Charlotte? 20 something?
Yeah.
I don't want to know how he got there. I don't need to.
There you go.
I don't want to know the percentages. I don't want to know how he got there. I don't want to know any of those things. But I'm just saying, he averaged 20 something, and I'm sure he was at 5 or 6 assists and all the things. So you go from that, and then you come to the Heat where you think I'm bringing my 25 and 3.
Here you go, Tiff. I got it for you. He was averaging 23 points, 6.6 assists, 3.9 rebounds, 1.1 steals.
Yeah. So you think you're bringing that with
NBA
you to the
player.
Heat. And then you get to the Heat, and it's like none of that, none of that is transferable. It's like I got an account with money over here, and I want to close it, and I want to put that money in this account. But they won't let me do it.
No.
And I think,
you know what it is, Tiff? It's that Chase scam that was going on. People writing fake checks, and they're trying to cash it, and now they're coming after him. And that's
fraud.
The story about the Miami Heat again.